Hi, my name is Dr. Joe Ferrantelli, and I'd like to take just a couple of minutes of your time to show you exactly how to obtain images to use with the new PostureRay digitizing software. Many of you do not have a X-ray digitizing system set up, whereas that you can obtain digital X-rays, either a DICOM image from a CR technology or direct digital technology. Most clinicians are going to be doing what I do in my clinic right now at this time, is use an ordinary digital camera, take pictures over here on the view box, and use that digital image to digitize so you can get the patient's biomechanics of their spine, as well as give them a lot of other information on their spine and report that back to third-party reimbursement. First thing, when you're using and taking lots of digital pictures, is the first step is to take a picture of the patient folder. Now you're probably wondering why I say to do that. You want to take a picture of the patient's name on the jacket first, because if you take 50 pictures in one sitting of many different patients, it's going to be very hard to see the view box, the nameplate on the view box. So that's the first step. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on my camera, and it's laying right here. So I'm going to go ahead and snap a picture of her folder. Okay. And next, now that I've obtained that, I know every subsequent picture after her patient jacket belongs to that patient. So that way, if we go ahead and store these on our hard drive, we never make a mistake on not knowing what X-ray goes with what patient. You have to do that. If you don't do that, what's going to wind up happening is you're going to get confused. Most of the doctors have their staff members take these images. Realistically, I'm not the one that's going to be taking the images of my patient's X-rays. I'm going to have my staff member do it. Just like I have my staff members use the PosturePrint software, they're doing everything on their own, and I double check things before I go over it with the patient. I'm going to have them do this part as well, so that way I can be out treating my own patients. The next step is, we're going to go ahead and put the X-ray up on the view box. We're going to turn on the view box. The problem is that we still have this ambient lighting in the room. So I'm going to walk right behind you, talking to the camera person, of course. And the next thing that we're going to do is, now that we can see the X-ray up here, I need to turn off the flash on the digital camera. Now, I can't offer you support on every digital camera. I simply don't know how to use a lot of these digital cameras. I know how to use the Sony CyberShot. That's one of the cameras that we recommend. We currently use a 3 megapixel camera. We just recently upgraded to a 10 megapixel camera, which right now is recording me on the other end. So this is one of my old cameras right here. But on the old camera, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the flash, which I just did. And the next thing that you want to do is, since we have the X-ray set up in like a portrait setting, I'm going to turn the camera long axis so that way it fills up the viewfinder. I don't know if you can see that from back there, but you can see it fills up the whole viewfinder. Make sure you can see all the corners of the X-ray, and I go ahead and obtain the picture. So I just took the picture. That is how simple it is. The next thing I'll do is, if I have a 8x10 that I need to take a photograph of, sometimes you'll have some ambient lighting around your object. You'll need to consult your imaging software that came with your camera, because a lot of times you can set the software that's built into the camera to accommodate different fluorescent backgrounds. You'll have to do some of your research on that for yourself. But on this camera, I don't have to do anything. All I have to do is turn the camera so it fills up the viewfinder. Make sure you're in the center. We want to make sure that all the edges can be seen. Also, one of the things that you want to make sure you do is, you want to have the zoom about halfway out. So if possible, because if when you look through and you take a picture and you look back on your computer, if you see anything it's called a fisheye effect, if you see bowing of the squareness of your X-rays, that means you have a problem set up with your camera. So when you take these images and you look at them on your computer, make sure that they don't look out of squareness. Okay? You want to make sure that if that shows up, all you have to do is change your zoom factor probably to about 50% of where far out zoom is and a close-up, and then you'll just need to stand a little bit farther back and then just bring the camera in. That way you get a nice square image of the X-ray. Because if not, if it's zoomed in or zoomed too far out, what's going to wind up occurring is that the square image of the X-ray is going to be bowed out. It kind of look like a fisheye, they term it in photography. So that's as simple as it is. Now the next step is, I'm going to go ahead and download these images to a folder on my desktop computer. where once I start PostureRay up, I'm going to go ahead and browse to that X-ray image. So I can find the patient file and I can find the X-ray image that I'm about to digitize. That's as simple as it is. Now if you have a digital X-ray system, direct digital or the CR technology, you don't even have to worry about this step. This is the most time-consuming part with using PostureRay is obtaining the images, and I suggest you have your staff members do this step for you. Thank you.